Okay, good evening, YouTube. Continuing on with our next segment on how to reload. I suppose. So let's recap what we've done so far. Okay, so we went over manuals, right? We went over uh, case prep, right? We talked about all that. So now what we need to do is work on charging our cases. So just to recap. So we talked about manuals, data, that sort of thing. Okay. We had our dirty case. We ran it through the tumbler. Then there's our semi-clean case, as I call it. Okay. Then we got our sizing die and our lube, right? We resized it. We knocked out the old primer. Okay, so we did that. So then now the next step would have been prepping our case, right? Cleaning the primer pocket, trimming if necessary, chamfering, and installing a new primer, right? So we covered all of those topics. So now we need to move on to charging our cases. Okay, so in charging our cases, of course, we're going to want to select our bullet, our powder. We're going to want to figure our data, right? So we're going to be loading 243, okay? We're going to be using the 107 grain Hollow Point Boat Tail Sierras, okay? And before anybody says anything about bullet stabilizing, my 243 has a 1 in 8 twist. So, but anyway, and that's something we'll discuss later, but I will touch on it lightly. When choosing a bullet, make sure that you know your rifle's twist rate. Reason why is if you have too heavy of a bullet for your twist, it's not going to stabilize. So, and you're not going to get any accuracy, and it's going to keyhole and everything else. So make sure that you're getting an appropriate bullet for the twist rate in your rifle. We'll talk more about twist rates later on. Okay. So like I said, we're going to use these 107 grain Hollow Point Boat Tail Sierra bullets, which I already have a load that I've tested and worked up that we're going to be using. But of course, we would look in our data book, and if you didn't already know what load you were going to use, you'd get out your manual, you'd look up, your bullet, your powder, and all that sort of thing, and there you go. So what we're going to be doing, we'll put this manual up because this one is irrelevant right now. That's the one I was working with earlier. So we're going to be using H4350 powder. H4350. Okay. Now we're going to be hand dipping these loads. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I have this powder measure kit. Now, as I mentioned the other day, a lot of times when you buy a set of Lee dies, it will come with a powder measure. Okay. Now I hand dip all of my precision rifle cartridges. It's just me. It's what I do. May not be your thing, but it's what I do because that way I know exactly what is in each cartridge, each round. So what we want to do here, let me flip this around. Set that like that. So when you buy the kit, it comes with this little card. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to find your powder. So we're using H4350. So it's right here. And the load that we are going to be doing is 36.3 grains. So right here it says a 2.5 dipper will do 34.5. And a 2.8 dipper will do 38.6. Okay, there's not one in between, so we're going to have to use the 2.8 because we're doing 36.3, so we need to get the 2.8. So I'll show you. Right there, it has all these different ones, and then I've got some extras too, but really great little kit. But anyway, so here's our 2.8 that we're going to be using. So now what we want to do, we'll take our powder, we're going to pour some of it in this little container. And again, you know, this way may not be the way everybody else does it, but it's how I do it. It's just, you know, some people say, oh, it takes too much time to do it that way, but I feel like if I want to do this, I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to put the time in it. So anyway, I got our scale. And being that we're just doing basics, I've just got this little cheapy scale out. Here's my powder, here's my brass, here's my dipper. Now, we said we were going to do 36.3, right? All right. Take our dipper. Right there's our 36.3. Well, 2.6. Not a big deal. There we go. 36.3. Okay. Take our funnel. Put it on here. Pour powder in. Boom. Now, what I do, so now I got my powder in that one, I go ahead and take the funnel off. Go to the next one, and I always start from left to right, you know, so that way I know I get every case. So it's just me, I go left to right. You know, you might want to go right to left, but to each his own. Okay, so 36.36 is not a big deal. Pour it in there. Our next one. There's 6.3. Okay, and you just repeat that process until you've got your desired number of cases charged. All right. Now the next step. We have to move over here to our press, okay, which I'm going to be using this old T-Mag press. We're going to bring our tray over. Now, being that this is a load that I already had tested and worked out, I already know what my OAL is going to be. And I already have my die set up for that. We're going to be doing 2.86 with these. Okay. Now, got our bullet. Got our brass. We're just going to kind of set the bullet there on top of it, just like that. You're going to put it in your number 2 shell holder. That's 243 is the number 2 holder. Now, you've got your case. It's in your shell holder. It's under your die. Okay, everything's ready to go. Okay, so now bring a ram down all the way. Pull it up. Now, this is important. We're going to check that length, even though we know we set the die up for that based on when we're already head loaded, but we're still going to check it anyway. So now, and again, I know there's different tools, and, you know, I have all those things, but I'm just showing the basics in these videos. So for you veteran guys that's going to say, oh, you need to get you a this, or you need to get you a that, or you need to be using this or that. Well, most likely all the things that you would say I need to use, I have, okay? But again, I'm just showing basics in these videos, okay? We'll do advanced stuff in another video, but these are just basic tools someone can get and start hand loading their own ammunition. Alright, so there we go. So 2.86. Boom. Okay. Now, here's something else I do. Okay. I'll take that case, right? Our data was 36.3 H4350. So I'm just going to write on the side of it here with a little marker. 36.3 H4350. That way I know that batch is what it is, right? Now, once I load the amount that I'm going to load, we'll put them in our box. I'll put a label on the box, date it, and then I'll also have my notebook, and I'll match those same notes up. So in my notebook, I'll say loaded 50, 243, 107 grain, bullet, 36.3 H4350 on such and such day, such and such date. And then when I go to the range and shoot them, I'll make a note in my notebook. Shot this load such and such day, boom, 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 boom. Okay. All right. I just kind of thought about what I said, but anyway, some of you will probably catch it. But anyway, so we're going to move on to our next one. So number 2. YouTube's probably will get me for that. So there we go. There's that. Okay. Move on to our next one. Alright. So there's that. Now, remember I said I go from left to right. Okay. I do that so that way I don't accidentally miss a case. I know if I go from left to right, I got my funnel on this one, I do it, move the funnel to this one, do it. So I know I'm not going to skip one. But something handy to have on your bench would be a little flashlight, okay? And that way you can look down in the case and you can see, oh man, I missed one. You know what I mean? You don't want to squib. And all the time I've reloaded, I've had one squib, and it was in a revolver, and it was not easy to get out. I had to use a hammer and a punch to drive it out. So, you know, you don't want to squib. It's not fun. So anyway, so that's that. So we got those loaded up, okay? You know, I just had those 3 charged. That's the only 3 I did. So we went from dirty case to tumbler. So here's our steps. We went to the range. We shot. We picked up our brass. We had dirty cases. Then from there, I brought them home and I ran them through my tumbler. Before I sized them or anything, I stuck them in the tumbler. Ran them for about an hour with just some corn cob. Actually, I got corn cob and walnut mixed. Ran it in the tumbler for about an hour. Got it out, and that's just to get the dirt and grime off of them, so I'm not running dirt and stuff up through my dies. Then from there, we resized and knocked out the old primer, right? We made sure we lubed our cases. We ran it through our sizing die. We did all our cases. Then from there, after we were done doing that, I ran them through the tumbler again for about an hour, hour and a half to get all the lube and remaining dirt off of them. Then after that, we cleaned our primer pockets. We checked our case length. We trimmed if necessary. We put in our new primers. And then after that, we inspected our cases to make sure everything was good. We decided on a powder. We decided on a bullet. We got our dipper out. We got our scale. We got our little cup of powder. We got our funnel, our press, and we loaded our rounds. We're going to make sure that we take good, accurate notes on what we did. We're going to date it. And then when we go to the range, we're going to take notes on how they performed. And then that way, next time I will know, hey, I need to, this didn't work, or I need to add more powder, or change bullets, or change primers, or whatever. I'll know what adjustments I need to make, if I need to make any. If it's a good load, then I'll know, okay, cool, this is a good one. I'm going to duplicate this and make more of them. So, there we go. So that's that. So, if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, tell your friends, family, co-workers, whatever. Everybody that's been subscribing and liking my videos, I really appreciate it. I'm not after, not doing this for any kind of, money or notoriety or anything. I'm just doing this because I enjoy reloading. I enjoy shooting guns, and just, I enjoy it. And, I like to talk about it. And I feel if, some of my knowledge can benefit someone else, then that's even better. So real quick, I want to take a moment and kind of introduce myself. That's something I should have done in the very beginning. My name's Dave. I live here in West Virginia. Not want to say the city, but I live in West Virginia. I've been reloading for several years now. Been doing it on my own for, I guess, maybe about 5 years, something like that. But I've been around it for a long time. I've known a lot of people that reload. My dad reloaded. I got a lot of friends that reload. So, I've always kind of been around it. Been around guns most of my life. I've always enjoyed shooting guns, and it's just a good hobby. So, but anyway, so that's that. I just want to take a moment, let everybody know who I am. Besides that, thanks again for watching my videos. Next, we'll probably start doing some range videos so that we can kind of share some of that with everyone. Again, thanks for watching, and if any of these videos were helpful to you, that's great. If you have any questions or whatever, feel free to shoot me a message. So thanks again. Remember, if you're not shooting, you should be reloading. Have a good day.